All right, so you're getting ready for a wholesale merchant in textiles interview.
Exciting stuff.
Yeah, it is, and we've got a ton of resources from RoleCatcher to help you kind of navigate this whole thing. It's
Absolutely.
like having a really experienced guide in this super complex industry.
Definitely. It's a fascinating role.
Yeah. So let's just jump right in with these sample interview questions that RoleCatcher has pulled together.
Sounds good.
I think they've really nailed down what these hiring managers are looking for.
Yeah, for sure.
So the first one is, describe your experience in the textile industry.
Okay.
Seems simple. But how can you make your answer really stand out?
So I think the magic here is to use storytelling and not just list, job titles and things like that.
Right.
So think about a time when you had to salvage a project with a last minute fabric swap, or maybe when you negotiated a great deal that benefited, both your company and supplier.
I love that.
Those are the kind of things that'll make you memorable.
For sure. For sure.
Much more so than just saying, oh, I worked at this company and I did this.
Right. Exactly. What's really cool is that RoleCatcher's AI can analyze the specific job description that you're going after.
Yes.
And it'll pick out the keywords and phrases that they're emphasizing, even if they're kind of hidden between the lines.
Yeah, that's right. And it's really helpful because sometimes job descriptions are a little bit vague.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And so this AI can really help you see what they're actually looking for.
Totally.
Yeah.
So, for example, let's say the job description mentions something like a strong understanding of sustainable textile practices.
Right.
RoleCatcher's AI will flag that, and it'll
Yeah.
be like, hey, make sure you talk about this in your answer.
Exactly. And then you can showcase the relevant experience you have. So maybe you can talk about that time you convinced your company to switch to organic cotton suppliers.
Yeah, that's so smart.
It's a good way to really tailor your answer to what they're looking for.
Okay, love that next question. How do you stay up to date with the latest trends in the textile industry? We're all about staying curious here on the deep dive.
Of course.
How do you do it in the textile world?
So reading industry publications is definitely important, but to really stand out, you want to demonstrate your proactive approach.
Okay.
So have you attended any virtual trade shows recently?
Hmm.
What about, a recent webinar on performance fabrics that changed your perspective?
Ooh, yeah.
So you want to show them that you're not just reading headlines, but you're actually absorbing and applying knowledge.
Right.
You're being proactive.
You've got to be a trendsetter, not just a follower.
Exactly.
Love it. Okay, let's tackle question 3. How do you manage relationships with textile suppliers? This sounds really straightforward, but I feel like there's a lot to unpack here.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Negotiation skills are crucial.
Yes.
But it's not just about squeezing suppliers for the lowest price. It's about building those long-term partnerships that benefit both sides.
Right. It's about trust and mutual benefit.
Exactly. So, think about times when you've collaborated with the supplier to develop maybe a new fabric blend or help them implement a more efficient production process.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Those are the kinds of stories that really showcase your collaborative spirit.
And that you're in it for the long haul,
Exactly.
not just a quick buck.
Exactly.
Okay, speaking of trust, what about when things go wrong?
Oh, yeah.
RoleCatcher throws in this challenging question. Imagine a shipment of textiles arrives, but it doesn't meet the agreed-upon specifications. What do you do?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
So in this situation, your problem-solving skills really come into play.
Okay.
First step is to thoroughly document everything.
Got it.
Take photos, compare the shipment to the order details, gather any relevant communication.
Okay.
This protects you and ensures clarity, and then
Makes sense.
contact the supplier and the buyer simultaneously.
At the same time.
Keep everyone informed and involved.
Wow, that's a great strategy for staying calm and in control when things get a little crazy.
Exactly.
And it shows you're a good communicator.
Communication is key.
But it doesn't end there, right?
No, of course not.
What about preventing this from happening again in the future?
This is where you highlight your proactive thinking.
Okay, I like it.
So maybe you suggest stricter quality control measures with the supplier, or perhaps you propose using a digital platform to track and approve samples before production even begins.
Oh, that's so smart.
The key is to demonstrate that you're not just reacting to problems, but actively seeking solutions to prevent them in the future.
That's gold.
Oh.
Okay, now let's dive into some of the more technical questions that can really test your knowledge of the industry.
All right, let's do it.
First one, can you explain the difference between textile, semi-finished, and raw materials?
Okay, so this is where your understanding of textile basics really shines.
Okay.
So semi-finished materials are partially processed but require further steps before becoming finished products.
Okay.
So think about yarn that's been spun but not yet woven into fabric. Raw materials, on the other hand, are completely unprocessed, like raw cotton or silk fibers straight from the source.
So it's like the very beginning of the process.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so for this question, you'd want to give those clear definitions and then maybe bring them to life with a specific example.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe talk about how you sourced semi-finished silk yarn from a particular region that's known for its quality and then oversaw its transformation into, a beautiful, luxurious fabric.
Exactly.
Okay, love that. Now let's shift gears to a topic that's becoming increasingly important in the textile world. How do you ensure that the textiles you purchase meet environmental and ethical standards?
This is a big one.
This is a big one. Yeah, it shows that the interviewers are really looking for someone who's not just focused on profit, but on responsible sourcing.
Absolutely. And this is where mentioning those certifications like BOCO-Ts and OCO-Tex can really come in handy.
Right.
These are globally recognized standards for organic textiles and sustainable production practices. So, for example, GOTS ensures that textiles are made with organically grown fibers and that the entire supply chain adheres to those strict environmental and social criteria.
Okay, so if you have experience working with these certifications, be sure to highlight specific projects or initiatives.
Yeah.
Maybe you could talk about, how you spearheaded a shift to GOTS certified cotton for a particular clothing line and, emphasize the positive impact it had on both the environment and the brand's image.
Absolutely. That's a great example.
What if you haven't worked directly with these certifications?
Yeah, that's okay.
How can you still demonstrate your commitment to ethical sourcing?
So even if you haven't worked directly with them, you can still talk about the steps you would take.
Okay.
Like researching suppliers, thoroughly looking for transparency in their supply chains,
Mm-hmm.
or even visiting their facilities to assess their practices firsthand.
That shows real dedication.
It's us.
It's about going beyond just the surface level. Okay, let's tackle a question that might seem a bit dry, but it's absolutely critical for a wholesale merchant. How do you manage inventory levels to ensure that you have enough materials on hand without overstocking?
Okay.
Inventory management, it can sound a little bit boring, but
It's important.
it's essential.
Yeah,
It's all about finding that sweet spot, right?
exactly. You need to have enough material to fulfill orders promptly. But overstocking can lead to wasted resources and potential losses.
Yeah, that's a real balancing act.
It is.
So how do you find that balance and impress those interviewers with your answer?
Think about specific methods that you've used in the past.
Okay.
Have you implemented a just-in-time inventory system?
Mm.
Have you used forecasting techniques to predict demand fluctuations?
Mm-hmm.
RoleCatcher's guide mentions optimizing stock levels as a really key skill.
Right.
So you could talk about how you would approach that optimization process, maybe by leveraging data analytics to identify trends and adjust your purchasing strategies accordingly.
That's great. Showcasing those analytical skills.
Exactly.
Okay, let's get back to those all-important negotiation skills with this question. Can you describe a time when you had to negotiate a contract with a textile supplier?
All right, here's your chance to shine.
Yes.
So, really showcase those negotiation skills. Think back to a situation where you negotiated a contract, ideally in the textile industry, and walk them through the process.
Yeah.
What were your goals going in?
Uh-huh.
What were the sticking points? How did you find common ground?
I love that.
A good story can really make this answer memorable.
Absolutely.
It's like painting a picture for them, showing them that you can handle that back and forth of negotiation.
And really bring them into that experience with you.
Exactly.
Okay, now let's wrap up this part one of our deep dive with one final quote that really tests your foundational textile knowledge.
Sounds good.
Can you explain the difference between natural and synthetic fibers?
Okay, so this is a pretty straightforward one.
Okay.
Natural fibers come from plants or animals,
Got it.
like cotton, wool, silk. Uh-huh.
And synthetic fibers are man-made typically from petroleum-based materials.
Okay,
So polyester, nylon, acrylic, those are all good examples.
so you want to keep it concise and clear, give those definitions, and then maybe illustrate with a memorable example.
Absolutely.
And perhaps you could mention a project where you specifically chose a blend of natural and synthetic fibers to achieve a certain feel or functionality
Yeah, that's a great idea.
for a line of clothing.
Yeah.
So that not only shows, your fibers, but you also know how to apply that knowledge in real-world scenarios.
Exactly.
We've covered a lot of ground in this first part, from foundational textile knowledge to strategic negotiation skills. But don't go anywhere in part two. We'll delve even deeper into the world of wholesale merchant interviews with even more insights from RoleCatcher.
Sounds good. Welcome back to our deep dive on acing that wholesale merchant in textiles interview.
Okay, so we've tackled some of those like really tough interview questions. You're feeling confident about your textile knowledge, and you've even got a handle on those tricky salary expectations. It's a lot to cover,
It is.
but RoleCatcher has even more insights for us.
They do. They really do. So let's jump back in with a question that goes beyond just knowing your fabrics.
Yeah.
How do you ensure ethical sourcing and eco-friendly practices?
This is huge in textiles today.
It is.
And it shows the interviewers that you're not just focused on, profits. You're
Yeah.
thinking about the bigger picture,
Absolutely.
sustainability, the whole thing.
So remember those certifications we talked about, like GATTs and Oecotex?
Yes.
Now's the time to bring those up if you've got experience with them.
Definitely.
But what if you don't?
Yeah, what if you don't have direct experience with those specific certifications?
How can you still show that you're committed to ethical sourcing?
You can talk about the steps you would take.
Okay.
So you'd research suppliers, thoroughly check their sustainability practices,
Makes sense.
look for transparency in their supply chains,
Mm-hmm.
and you could even talk about visiting supplier factories.
Oh, to see their operations firsthand.
Exactly. It shows that extra level of commitment.
Yeah, you're not just talking the talk, you're walking the walk.
Exactly.
Speaking of going the extra mile, let's tackle a question that's critical for any wholesale merchant. How do you manage inventory levels to ensure you have enough materials on hand without overstocking?
Oh, inventory management.
Yeah, it can sound a little dry.
But it's essential
It is.
for a wholesale merchant.
Absolutely.
You need to find that sweet spot.
Right.
Enough materials to meet demand, but not so much that you're wasting money.
Wasting resources.
Exactly. Storage space, all of that.
It's a delicate balance.
It is a balancing act.
So how do you impress those interviewers with your answer?
So think about methods you've used in the past.
Okay.
Have you worked with any inventory management software?
Mm-hmm.
What about forecasting techniques?
Oh, yeah, to anticipate those demand fluctuations.
Exactly. And RoleCatcher's guide actually talks about optimizing stock levels as a key skill.
Right.
You can talk about how you would approach that optimization process, maybe by using data analytics
Well, using data, that's great.
to identify trends and adjust your purchasing strategies.
So you're showing them you can think strategically.
Exactly.
Love that. Okay, let's shift gears back to those negotiation skills.
Yes, negotiation is so important.
Another question from RoleCatcher. Can you describe a time when you had to negotiate a contract with a textile supplier?
All right, time to shine.
Yeah,
Showcase those negotiation skills.
let's do it.
Think back to a situation where you negotiated a contract,
Ideally in textiles.
ideally in textiles, yes, and walk them through the process.
Okay,
What were your goals going in? What were the sticking points?
those are always tricky.
They are. How did you find common ground?
I love that.
Focus on the positive.
Right,
Highlight a time when you reached a win-win agreement.
absolutely.
Now get ready for this one. This one can be a little awkward.
Okay, what is it?
What are your salary expectations?
The salary question?
Everyone's favorite.
I know can be a little uncomfortable.
It can to talk about money.
It is, but it's important.
It is.
And it's not just about throwing out a number.
Right.
You need to do your research.
Research is key.
Absolutely. Know what's competitive for the role and for your level of experience.
There are some great resources out there for that.
There are websites like glassdoorsalary.com.
Yeah.
They can be really helpful.
Absolutely.
Once you understand the market rate.
You can give a confident answer
Yes.
that reflects your worth.
And don't be afraid to ask for what you deserve.
Confidence is key,
It is.
but it's not just about the number.
No.
What else should you be ready to talk about?
Be ready to explain your reasoning.
Okay.
So if you're asking for a higher salary, highlight your skills and experience.
Makes sense.
Talk about your track record of success, your unique qualifications.
So you're really selling yourself.
Exactly. Remember, it's a negotiation,
It is a negotiation.
and being prepared is essential.
I love that. Okay. So let's move on to some questions that really focus on your career aspirations.
Where you see yourself fitting into this role.
Sounds good.
RoleCatcher suggests being ready for this classic question. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Ah, the 5-year plan.
I know, right?
This one's all about showing ambition,
Okay.
a clear vision for your future.
You don't have to have it all figured out,
No, not at all.
but you need to show that you've given it some thought.
Yes, definitely.
So what are some things to keep in mind when you're answering this?
Think about your professional goals.
Okay.
Do you see yourself moving into a management position? Maybe specializing in a particular area of textiles like sustainable sourcing
Oh, yeah.
or performance fabrics.
Or maybe even starting your own business.
You never know.
That's a good one. RoleCatcher's career guide actually provides a breakdown of potential career paths
Oh, that's cool.
within the wholesale textile industry.
I love that.
So you can check that out for inspiration.
So you're walking into the interview not only knowing how to answer the question, but also having a vision for where this role could take you. Exactly.
And speaking of career paths, I love that RoleCatcher offers a transferable skills analysis.
Yes,
That's so valuable
it is.
because the textile industry is so diverse.
It is.
Someone might have experience in quality control
Right.
that could easily transfer to a product development role.
Absolutely.
Or maybe their negotiation skills from retail could be perfect for a sourcing position
Exactly. It's about connecting those dots.
and showing how versatile you are.
Yes. And let's not forget RoleCatcher's AI.
Oh yeah, their AI
It can give you personalized feedback
on your resume, on your answers.
on everything.
That's amazing.
It helps you improve continuously.
Okay, so I love this question. What are your career goals?
Right?
It seems pretty straightforward,
It does.
but how can you make your answer stand out?
So this is similar to the 5-year question,
Okay,
but you can go into a bit more detail.
okay, I like it.
You can talk about specific skills you want to develop,
Mm.
areas of the industry that you're most interested in, even the type of company culture you're looking for.
So you're really painting a picture of your ideal work environment.
Exactly.
Okay, let's tackle a question that can be a bit tricky.
All right, what is it?
What are your weaknesses?
The dreaded weakness question.
I know.
Everyone has weaknesses.
Yeah, of course.
But you want to frame them positively.
Okay, so how do you do that?
Choose a weakness that's not essential for the role.
Right.
So, for example, if you're applying for a wholesale merchant position,
Yeah.
don't say your weakness is negotiation.
Or building relationships.
Exactly.
That's not going to fly.
No, not at all.
Okay, so what should you do instead?
Choose something that you are actively working on improving.
Okay.
So maybe you're a bit too detail-oriented,
Mm-hmm.
which can sometimes slow you down.
I can see that.
Or maybe you take on too much responsibility,
Yeah.
which can lead to feeling overwhelmed.
I feel that.
So acknowledge the weakness
Right.
and then talk about what you're doing to address it.
So maybe you're taking a course on time management
Yes.
or delegation, or you've implemented a new system for prioritizing tasks.
Exactly.
You're showing that you're self-aware and proactive.
Exactly.
Okay, love that. Now, for a question that's a little bit more philosophical.
Okay.
What motivates you?
Ooh, that's a good one.
This can reveal a lot about your work ethic and what drives you to succeed.
Absolutely.
So what should you be thinking about here?
Think about what gets you going in the workplace.
Okay.
Is it the challenge of closing a big deal?
Hmm.
The satisfaction of helping clients find the perfect textiles?
Yeah.
The opportunity to learn and grow?
Yeah, love that.
And be specific.
Okay.
Don't just say, I'm motivated by success.
Right.
Give an example.
A concrete example.
Yes, a time when you were motivated to achieve a goal and what drove you to succeed.
A story.
Yes, a story always helps.
All right, so along those same lines, how do you handle stress?
Stress is inevitable,
Oh, it is, especially in this industry.
especially in textiles.
So the interviewers want to know that you can handle the pressure.
Stay calm. So think about techniques you use to manage stress.
Okay.
Do you prioritize tasks?
Yeah.
Break down large projects?
Make them more manageable?
Exactly.
Mm.
Do you delegate effectively?
Mhm.
Trust your team members?
That's huge.
It is, do you take breaks when needed?
So important.
It is to clear your head, come back refreshed.
Yes.
Maybe you practice mindfulness or exercise regularly.
All great strategies.
It's about staying grounded and centered.
And you can give a specific example
Of course.
of a time you successfully managed a stressful situation at work.
Always a good idea.
Okay, let's wrap up this section with a question that's more open-ended. Do you have any questions for me?
Yes. The chance to turn the tables.
Yeah.
Get some insights from the interviewer.
And show that you're curious.
Absolutely.
But choose those questions wisely.
Yes. Avoid questions that can be easily answered with a quick Google search.
You want to look prepared.
Yes, you do.
So what kind of questions should you ask?
Ask questions that demonstrate you've been thinking deeply. You could ask about the company culture, the team you'd be working with,
Yeah.
opportunities for growth.
All good ones.
Or you could even ask about the interviewer's experience at the company
Oh, that's interesting.
or their perspective on the industry. It
Yeah,
shows
yeah.
you're engaged.
Okay, so we've covered a lot in this second part.
We have.
Ethical sourcing, salary expectations,
Career goals,
handling stress,
lots of good stuff.
but there's still more to come.
Yes, there is.
In part 3, we'll explore how RoleCatcher's insights can help you map out your career path in textiles, identify transferable skills, and use their AI to really gain that edge in your job search. All right, so we've prepped for those tough interview questions.
Yes, we have.
You're feeling confident about showing off that textile knowledge,
Probably.
and you've got a handle on those tricky salary conversations.
It's a lot, but you're ready.
I think so. What's next on our deep dive journey with RoleCatcher?
Well, now we get to the really exciting part.
What's that?
Envisioning your future in the textile world.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, RoleCatcher goes beyond just interview prep.
Okay.
They give you valuable insights to map out your entire career trajectory.
That's awesome. So it's not just about landing the job.
No.
It's about knowing where this role can lead you, how you can grow in the industry.
Exactly.
So what kind of insights do they actually offer?
They provide a really fascinating breakdown of potential career progression.
Okay.
They outline the path from junior merchant all the way up to manager,
Wow.
with detailed insights about responsibilities and skills needed at each level.
So it's like having a roadmap for your textile career.
It really is.
I love that. So imagine walking into that interview,
Yes.
not just knowing the answers,
Right.
but having a vision for where you fit in the company.
It shows ambition, foresight,
Yeah.
a genuine interest in a long-term career.
It's impressive. And I also really love that RoleCatcher offers that transferable skills analysis.
Oh, yes.
It helps you see how your skills could translate to other roles, even if they seem unrelated at first.
Right, because the textile industry is so diverse.
So someone might have valuable experience in quality control,
Yeah,
and that could easily transfer to a product development role.
absolutely.
Or their negotiation skills from retail could be perfect for sourcing,
You're right. It's all about connecting the dots.
showing them your versatile skill set.
Exactly. And of course, we can't forget about RoleCatcher's secret weapon,
What's that?
their AI-powered platform.
The AI, I love it. So we talked about how it helps tailor resumes and interview answers.
Mm-hmm.
But how else can it support your job search?
It gives you personalized feedback to continuously improve.
Okay.
You can upload practice interview responses,
Good.
even your resume.
And it'll analyze it
It analyzes your content, suggests improvements
in the language.
in language structure.
Wow.
It even highlights key skills to emphasize.
That's incredible. It's like having a career coach in your pocket.
It really is.
So to recap, you're walking into that interview feeling prepared, confident,
Yes.
equipped with all these insights and tools from RoleCatcher.
Absolutely.
You understand the role. You've got strong answers and a vision for your future.
You're all set.
I think so. But here's a final thought for our listeners.
Okay.
Beyond those technical skills, the interview prep, the career, mapping, what personal qualities do you think make an exceptional wholesale merchant?
That's a great question. It's about more than just checking boxes on a resume.
Right, those intangible things that make someone really thrive in this role.
Think about the traits that would make you a valuable asset to any textile company.
What sets you apart from everyone else?
What makes you unique?
Well, I think a deep passion for the industry is crucial.
Oh, absolutely.
It's about being excited about textiles,
Yes.
staying curious about new innovations and trends.
That's what keeps it interesting.
It does. And constantly seeking to learn and grow.
You're always learning in this industry.
So that passion will fuel your success and make you stand out.
I agree. And as you start this exciting journey in the textile world, remember you have resources like RoleCatcher and insights from the deep dive to help you every step of the way.
That's right. So we hope this deep dive has given you the tools and the confidence you need to ace that interview
Best of luck out there.
and embark on an amazing career in the textile industry.
It's a fascinating field.
Until next time.
See you then.